Hey guys, okay, so this week we started off back in Bale. The encounter that we ended with last week, where we had just fought Mr. Falzon, is where the party picked up. We left there by sending Brian to go meet up with the guard captain. Guard captain came back, had to bash a few heads on the way because the city's starting to riot. So they meet up with Brian and everything, and they get the guard captain in there, and they go, okay, we got to get to Longtooth. So everybody heads towards the central chamber, or the council chamber, sorry. They meet up at the council chamber where Longtooth is there, along with the chieftain from Tuka. And this chieftain, you guys know her, she's the big female orcish lady. She talks with a Russian accent like this, because for some reason all the orcs have Russian accents. Don't know why. Alright, so we meet up with the chieftain and everything, and we're meeting and we're talking. We find out a whole bunch of the villagers got slaughtered this week. They had gone to get those trees and died in the process. Well, we've got riots going on in Bale. Everything's going a little bit crazy. All of a sudden, Daly's character senses a disturbance in the force. You know, he feels the magical essence being drawn out of the building like a tide pulling back right before a large wave. And all of a sudden, just fireball after fireball after fireball all starts hitting the building. And the building just starts collapsing in on everybody. Made a whole bunch of checks. Amazingly, the party all manages to get out. The two female council members, you may remember from probably about 5 sessions ago now, because Randall tried to seduce them. That might be why you remember them. Those two did not make it out. Their blood sprayed everywhere into the alleyway. It was terrible. It was gruesome. The guard captain made it. Longtooth made it. The chieftain made it. And the party made it. So the party's going out, and they get into a fight in the alleyway. They're slinging spells, and they're shooting arrows and pinning guys to walls, stuff like that. Pretty cool stuff. Well, they're going along. Well, Randall decides to search one. When Randall does, he finds a note telling them to act if Falzon doesn't come around in time, which the party killed Falzon last time. So obviously he didn't come around. So the party is looking at this. Longtooth's like, I recognize this writing, but I'm not sure where. And Daly's like, oh, let me see. You know, he takes a look at it and everything. It's going to take him a few rounds. So the party starts holding off these bad guys, and they're casting spells. And Brian casts Shatter, I believe it was, and the walls come tumbling down like Jericho right on top of these bad guys. Right about then, the guard captain goes to cast a fireball, or what the party thinks is a fireball, off of a scroll towards the enemy. And at the same time, Daly rolls his investigation, sees who actually wrote it was the guard captain, rolls an arcana check, and realizes that this fireball is actually going to detonate right in the middle of the party. So he counterspells it, stops the fireball. They grab the captain, they start interrogating him. Longtooth rips his hands off so he can never hurt anybody again, he says. And they end up killing the guard captain. Everyone's making it out of the town and everything. They book it. They get out of the city. As they're walking back to Tuka, they can hear explosions in the background, rioting. There's smoke bellowing out of the city. It's a real gruesome scene. So they're making their way up. They get back to the village of Tuka. They immediately begin talking to folks. They find out, there's only like 60 people left. The village is really hurt. They find out that they managed to get a few trees, but not as many as there were down there, because when those people got slaughtered, the other trees were taken out. But with the trees they do have, the chieftain believes that they could actually build what we would call a sky ship or an airship or a spelljammer or what have you. These are not normal for this world. No one's ever seen one, so they're still very much a prototype, but it's been heard of, and they found this out because one of the people that came along with them was Tom. Tom was the librarian and mage at the Arcanist College that the party made friends with because they saved his daughter with RJ's character a few sessions back. Actually, probably about 6 or 7 sessions back now. So they saved the daughter and everything. So Tom goes with them, and Tom mentions that this is being built, and he knows where the ships are being built at in a place called Zeal City, which is 400 miles south, or a 20 days journey by foot. And that's if everything was easy, which it never is. So the party's like, okay, first let's go check out the cave system. Let's see what's going on there. So they go there. They find the skull of the Subek, which they didn't find out till later. But as the skull of the Subek is mounted above the cave, and there's smoke slowly drifting out, and there's bodies and gore hanging everywhere. There were tracks, but they've been hidden. So the party goes down into the cave. and they're sneaking around, and it's really smoky and everything. And they get down at the bottom, and Trevor, a new fellow who is now playing a cleric, along with Randall, say, "We're gonna blindly walk in." Yeah, we can do that. Love D&D. Okay, so they walk in, and they're messing around, and a geyser erupts from underneath them. This cave is full of lava now. At some point, lava is being flowing into this cave, and there's smoke everywhere. And all of a sudden, they see this demonic dragon-looking head, which actually turns out later to be a fire drake, as Daly and RJ managed to identify it. This fire drake is speaking infernal to them and starts breathing fire, and there's a giant fight, and everybody's just slamming stuff around. People are getting beat down. Brian's healing people. Trevor's dying again and again and again. Somehow, Randall didn't die. Escaped with a sliver of his life. Sneeze. Okay. Escaped with a sliver of his life. It's an absolute miracle on his part. Daly drops a little dirt so they can make a quick getaway, but they actually managed to kill this thing, and I'm talking everybody got a hit on. I had Daly pounding him with lightning. Brian was hitting it with a little frost spell that he had. Tim actually did a ton of damage with Frostbolt that he sent out. Critical, double max damage against a creature made of fire, so it was even more damage than it would normally be. Ripped it to shreds. RG's flinging arrows, crazy stuff. So the party kills this thing. They do a little looting. They find some magical items. They notice the door where they fought the Subek before is whole again. They go in there. They start investigating, and underneath the ground, they actually find the body of the Subek buried with these ritualistic totems that are only placeable by a Subek from the same clutch of eggs born as that Subek. So, logical deduction, they now know that Subek has living family. Then they find written on a wall, very lightly, "I will find you, and when I find you, I will kill you." And they're like, "Oh, this is pretty ominous stuff." So they head back to the town. They get up there, and they're like, they're talking to a few people, doing a little magic general stuff. And RJ goes, "Hey, I'm going to ask if anybody's seen a new character come in, or new NPC." And there were two new ones. They had the Minotaur, really good guy, party likes him a lot. He comes in and replaced Ash, the blacksmith who's injured at the moment. So he comes in, he's been doing a lot of Ash's work and helping take care of Ash and everything. And this other drunken fighter. So they go looking around the town, they find this drunken fighter, he's upside down in a barrel. They play roll the barrel with a stick, some kind of game that RJ decided to make up and beat the hell out of this guy with. Get him back to the longhouse, get him in there, and they start first interrogating him, then torturing him, then they let Terrence torture him, then they beat him a little more. Finally, they let him go. Daly walks in, he's like, "What the shit," And the party's like, "Okay, we got this information, we gotta go find a guy named Gregor." So they head out, they're going to look for this Gregor guy. They, of course, find Chaz the Dark, as the warrior was known, dead, on the ground, from blood loss. Or at least they thought it was blood loss. They do an investigation check. Poisoned. Yeah, poisoned. Took a little dart to the neck, and they look around, they find some cattle marks, llamas they believe it to be, but that's the only tracks they can find. They go a little further in, looking for this Gregor who's supposed to be in a tree. They find a dead tree in the middle of a clearing. A bird flies by, a giant gray parrot, and flies off to the north. And while they're doing that, they go over to the tree and they realize there's something shiny down the hole, and they're suspicious as hell. And I can understand that. I would be too. So they end up going back for Chaz the Dark's body, shove his arm down there, gets chomped off. It's a mimic. There's a mimic stuck inside this tree trying to lure things in so we can eat them. That's where we left off for the week. We need to decide what we're going to be doing next for the week, so let me know and I'll talk to you all later.